Hello everyone, Tanak here. Welcome to episode 142 of Building My Industrial Empire in EVE Online. Let's start the show by looking at the Plenitude Alliance HR. We are now at 104 pilot in the Alliance, which is a +6 compared to last week. We've been over the initial rush of pilot in the Alliance, and now we're more into an organic growth phase with a regular influx of players that are finding out about the corp, interested to join. If I can keep a pace like this, where I'm getting five to 10 new pilot, around 5 pilot a week, I'm very happy with that growth. And any CEO that start a new corp, you can't expect to be recruiting 20 people a week, at least not for a smaller size alliance like us. So all in all, pretty happy with the growth this week. Now let's talk about the finance. What you can see is the global finance, and this is the net worth of the two corp, the holding corp and Plenitude Industrial Group. I don't have the net worth of the alliance because there's member corp and which each have their own money there, and I also have the net worth of three of my characters. So Tanak, which is my main, that is still part of Womp to defend the structure for Plenitude. Tanak Kalahed, which is the CEO of the holding corp here, and Foreman Fred. So I'm keeping this as a benchmark. And you can see that for the past weeks we've been holding more or less steady. We're not making profit, we're not losing money, so we are basically covering our fuel cost and giving a home to the pilot that are coming with us. And we're doing that by keeping also while keeping the tax extremely low, both internally and externally. So that's exactly the goal. I wasn't focusing on making a ton of money. That's never was my goal with this corporation. The idea is to develop the region economically, bring life in Canid and life in the South in general, make Amar a viable trade option, which the first part of our plan is basically we're going a region by region, so trying to bring life into Canid and then start to extend into Tashmerkan and then into Amar. And all of that will hopefully help economically develop the South. So in that regard, our market hub, which is the center of our strategy, here we are in a pretty decent situation where we are now ranked, if I'm taking the 7-day average trade, and there's many different ways to rate what is a market hub. The default way when you go into Adam for Eve, if you go into Adam for Eve market hub, it will show you the average. It's sorted by the value of trade on the past 3 days, the average value of the past 3 days, and in that the Plenimart is rank number 35. So I could change that if I like. Yesterday we had a good day, and we on our best day we ranked 22nd. Yesterday we were ranked 23rd. So and the station on top, they change day to day because depending on what is being sold and everything. So how do you evaluate what is the best market hub? Is it the average of the month? Is it the average of the last 3 days? Is it the last day? Do you go by amount of value of item for sale, number of sale orders? There's a bunch of different ways. So you got to choose a benchmark, and to be so that I don't get accused of playing the number just to make us look good. The benchmark I'm going to use is the default Adam for Eve 1, which is the you just go on Adam for Eve and you go on Market Hub, and that's what you see, and then you just like you want to see more to see where the Plenty Mart is, and we're at number 35 here. My goal is to by the end of the year that we are on the top 20 on a regular basis. Is it possible? It's hard. The best we've done so far is number 20 to 22, but I think we probably can climb a few rung on that ladder still. Anyway, that's the globally what we're seeing in the local area. What we can see is we are in the number of order, we are by far the top one. Well, not by far. Us and Irmalin. Irmalin is the asset safety system for 3 region of Knoll. So it's in low sec, so it can trade cap. So generally speaking, this market has a huge advantage. But here you can see that the Plenty Mart still in the number of items that are being sold and the number of transaction, it is registering. It is registering while Irmalin is not. So all in all, I think do we beat them? It's just a different type of market. But if you take those two, the rest of the region is in terms of value of trade, in terms of number of sell order, in terms of transaction, we are like in a league of our own in the region, which is pretty good. But as you saw in the whole alliance income, I'm not making a ton of money. Like running a market hub is not that big. Is not that big of an income now. I'm charging externally. We're charging 0.8%, internally 0.4 on the market. So internally meaning if you're part of our group, you get a little discount. The idea is to make sure that you're always cheaper than a local NPC station, and you kind of don't have a choice because if you don't do that, what's the gain for a player to go at a player run station instead of an NPC station? So you do have to be very aggressive on your pricing, and we're doing that for all the structure. But still, the goal, like I said, was to break even, and we're doing that. And the market hub is actually doing great. So all in all, the finance part is going. I'm not gonna retire on my own little private island with that. But I can run the corp. I can offer good services to my member, and I'm not losing money, which is the like all in all, we're hitting the target, which is what we wanted to do. Now, during a week, we're getting about. Right now, we're at about 2 billion a week in ore buyback. So I'm buying from the member about 2 billion a week. At 90% GDA buy, and I'm selling it at 100%. So I'm making like it's almost half of our income come from that ore buyback. So that's a big help into running the entire operation. Now, what else can I say on the finance? We have an Athanor in the oven that should be ready sometime later this week. So we decided to build our own structure for just for fun. Actually, we built our own structure just to say that we did. We have an Athanor. It's going to be ready soon. The goal is to anchor on a second ISAC moon, to have 2 moon to be so that we are pulling 2 moons every week instead of just one. Because right now, when we have a moon pull, it's usually gone within an hour. Most of the alliance member that are online just go and they harvest it pretty fast. So the idea is to go with 2 moon instead of one. which shouldn't break the bank. We should be able to do that. Uh, Now, what else? We got three more Poco this week in the area. So always like they're all close to Kitaled. So anybody that's based in our at the Plenty Mart can use those Poco for their PI, and we're charging 1% tax internally and 3% tax externally. So at least it helps a little bit with the finance. It's a little stream of like you don't get rich with Poco unless you own a lot of them. We're at 17 now. Uh, it's a it's a nice revenue stream, but it's not again it's not great money. It's okay money. It's money is money, but the more important part of that is that we can like if somebody in corp maxes his tax evasion skill, with the 1% internally, he end up paying just 6% POCO tax because Concord will tax you in ISEC 10% that you can reduce all the way to 5% if you get custom code expertise. So you get custom code expertise to 5. You can do ISEC. You can basically save 5% tax on the ISEC PI. And for us, since we charge only one, so you're paying 5% to Concord and 1% to Plenitude. So it's still ISEC PI, not as lucrative as low or null, but safety of ISEC. So that after that, it's a choice of play style. I've talked enough about finance. That's pretty much what I have to say right now. No big loss or no big gain. Pretty much business as usual. And now politics. The one thing I wanted to show you, I think it goes into politics, is Womp anchored. Super nice. I'm gonna show it to you. Super nice Sotiyo. A nice Sotiyo this week, so we can now build everything. This is the big the top tier of the industrial structure. They are very rare to see. Well, no, not very rare. You can see them. It's not the first time I see one, but they're not super common, especially for people that never go out of ISEC, because you can't anchor them in ISEC. But very, very cool structure, big progression for Womp, big plus for our industrialist. So a big step in the growth of the general Womp Alliance, not Plenitude specifically. But all in all, very good. And Plenitude member have access, because our member have access to the 3TACF system, which is the Womp capital, if you will. So they can use, we have the full setup with a Tetera, a Sotiyo, and a Keepstar now. So anyway, if you at least have the a little bit of courage to jump to system to go into ISEC, to go from ISEC to null, because it's just to jump like there's a one low sec system, and then you're in 3TACF, and you can, like, a Plenitude member can use those facility, which is a very good. This is actually a very good way to help new bro industrialists transition from doing ISEC only to doing more advanced industry, which need to be low or null. So we have a very good setup for that. Now personally, because I've been asked a lot about industry, and some people wanted me to join their corp or put a character in their corp to do industry, is me, Tanak, personally, I almost don't do industry anymore. I don't have the time. Industry if you have a limited number of hours, industry is time intensive to set up your initial job, to research what you need to do, get your logistical chain, like get your supply of minerals, supply of PI material, exploration material. You need to get your supply chain in order to be able to produce, and you need to be researching what makes money. And then there's a lot of moving stuff around, a lot of carrying. So the logistic part of industry is quite intensive. If you're doing it for multiple character, you kind of lower the overhead by industry slot. If it's the way I think about it. So if you have only one character with 5 industrial slot or 10 industrial 10 production slot, and you're just researching the industry for that one character, it's very hard to make good money for that. It's pretty time intensive for one character. So that's why you'll see industrial player with many alts, many account. They'll have their own little mining fleet. And it's rare that you see somebody that's just doing building. There are some, but it's rarer. So anyway, that is to say that personally, I used to do industry when I started the series. That's why it's called Building My Industrial Empire. I'm interested in industry. I like to talk about it. I like to research it, but I don't really do it in game for my own money. I actually started buying Blueprint after talking to that corp to say maybe I should just kick myself in the behind and get more active industry, since I run an industrial series, and it is time intensive, and it's not the like if you just have an hour to play an evening, I rather spend it doing something that will achieve me more than doing industry. Like I got my PI set up, and half of the day I don't even bother collecting it. So that's how lazy I am with that. Anyway, aside from that, because I was into politics, I'm rambling tonight. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired of this week. Politic in the area, because ISEC, I don't really have much change into politics. There was 2 POCO war against Dead Corp, so nothing really to write home about. We declare war, we rev the POCOs, and then we took the timer. I had to alarm clock for one, but we shot the 2 POCOs. But in the null sec area, the fight between Womp and Only Fleet has intensified a little bit. During the week, there was many small scale battle like this, like 50 pilot, or more or less 50 pilot on each side. And they're coming trying to ref a system, or we're coming trying to ref a system or a station, or shooting a jump bridge or stuff like that. And then the other side respond, and you're getting a bunch of these little fight, but like mostly fight with no big no 10 billion plus loss on one side fight. So a bunch of these little fight all over the week. I couldn't get into, like, most of them in the area are happens around the EU time zone. So the big fight are mostly EU time zone. Any time zone, what we're getting sometime we're getting roamer in the pocket. We're fighting a little bit. I had the chance with Tanak, first time in a long time, to go on a roam with the boys. But overall, there is, I would say, there is more actual fighting action during EU time zone in the area. But yesterday, Phoenix Co managed to entoast a bunch of system from Only Fleet, and Only Fleet and Womp managed to toast ATAC B. So this weekend we're gonna have a bunch of Entosis battle, which are gonna be pretty fun. Hopefully, I'll be able, because when they happen on the weekend, I'm able to join them. So we're hoping for a few good fight this weekend. It should be fun. Uh, Aside from that, what else did we do? Well, our weekly activities are, well, we're doing like the routine stuff that we always do. Moon pool. We're doing moon mining. We're doing general fleet. We have like a almost daily mining fleet. Like people will they'll just post in alliance chat. Okay, I'm mining there. Come and join me for buff, and then people will just join the fleet. Just fleet up, and they'll destroy a few belts. So that's the typical thing they do. Aside from that, a few of our guys have started doing faction warfare. Plenitude for an ISEC industrial group. We have a decent-ish kill board. Even I got a good week with 45% dangerous. So this is mostly our guys doing faction warfare that are pulling the kill board up. Uh, Again, like standard stuff you do in corp. Sometimes we will we've started having some people join Womp for Rome, but it hasn't been in huge number now. But usually we have, like, if Womp is doing a content Rome plenitude member, now they're invited most of the time, and they're allowed to go with the one player to roam, have fun, do some pew pew. So this happen often enough. Here, the one roam I was able to get on, I actually managed to score 3 kills. So all in all, I didn't die and I scored 3 kills. So that was a good roam for me. Now, do I have other stuff to say about that? Not really. It's that's pretty much it. My week was a good week personally. Now, well, that's pretty much what I had to say for this week. A little less intense than the few weeks before. Still, I mean, a little less intense, but we got a Sotiyo, I got 3 Pocos, I got an Rome, so still, it just felt more routine in my mind. What I'm planning next week, well, the one big thing is Foreman Fred should be able to fly an Orca starting next week. If my calculation are right, I should be able to get into a real boost ship and actually be a foreman, even if I'm named Foreman Fred. So that's really my objective for next week. And hopefully, I've been saying that for a while, but I really need to start doing it, is find a way to delegate some of the activity in the corp, just so that I can have a little bit more time for myself to play. Because right now I would say at least 80% of my time in game is spent just managing the corp or doing something for the corp that, like, let's say we're shooting a Poco. Well, it can only be done with Womp because the war is declared with Womp, not with Plenitude, because the Poco are the structure are in Womp, so Plenitude is a non-deckable corp. So I have to do it with Tanak, but still I end up basically just playing for the corp most of the time. I haven't had much time to just crab and do stuff, so that's hopefully I'll get to do a little bit of that also the following week. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy. I've been rambling enough. Again, if you guys have any comment, question, feel free to ask. If you want to talk, hit me up in game, hit me up on my Discord. Always happy to talk with you guys, and see you guys next week. Bye bye.